Italy. This is Marie's Kitchen, and today we are gonna make mushroom risotto. It's an Italian dish, come from south of Italy, moved to north to Milano in the 1400. Anyway, so today what we'll need is a small onions. I use white onions. Well, this is more in the small medium, but not big onions. So we're gonna chop 1 onions, 5 ounces of mushrooms. I have white mushrooms. I have shiitake mushrooms. The reason I'm using shiitakes, it's because it's more earthy. You know, it gives you that earthy kind of taste in your risotto. So there we go. We are going to start chopping the onions. So for that, as you know from last cooking show, we had I love to use a chef knife, and I have my little knife here. So we are going to start chopping the onions. So, and this is my technique, but your technique for chopping onions is just fine. The result is we are chopping onions. So this is my technique. I'm going to chop the end of the onions, and then I go right in the middle. Then what I do, I peel usually the very first layer of the onions because you do not want that. So I do that. There it goes. And then I am going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, your chopping technique will be just fine. So I'm going to throw that. And we are going to start chopping. So this is what I do. I go like this. And again, you do the way you like it and be comfortable with it. As long as you have diced onions, that's all that matters. Okay? So this is what I'm doing, dicing the onions. You're probably going to cry a little bit, but it's fun. And I like white onions. Don't ask me why. It's just a preference. You can use yellow onions, and you can also use some shallots, same family. And I love shallot. We use a lot of shallots in Europe. But today I decide to go with white onions. And voila, your onions, it's chopped. Now I'm going to take my white mushrooms. This is just a plain white mushrooms. I do not wash my mushrooms, but I do peel the white one. The shiitake mushroom, I want clean. I just brush them. And you can do that with a rag. So this is chopping, you know, like nice, not so thick slice. So there it goes. And you have this kind of results. And they're going to sweat when we cook them. So it's a beautiful white mushrooms. They are not organic. Those are not organic white. But I do peel them just because I like to peel them. Some people always ask me. Also, when you chop something, anything, any chopping, protect your finger. So what you do, you just put your fingers inside. So this is the white mushroom, and it calls white mushroom for a reason. It's really white, really firm, and like I told you for the cauliflower recipe, I like fresh ingredient, firm, and this one represents exactly what I said. And look at the shiitake mushroom. It's a little bit more moist, but it's really brownish color. And you can taste the earth in this mushroom. It's one of my favorite mushrooms. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slice. This one I just clean. I always have this little rag. It's a kitchen rag. So what I did with those shiitake, I just brush with my rag. I don't wash the mushroom because they're already a lot of water in the mushroom, and I do the same thing that I did with the white mushroom. So nice little slice. Don't be afraid. You can do this. Anybody can do this. There's a funny thing about risotto. Let me tell you that. So, as you know, I was born and raised in Belgium, but I was Italian. My parents were both Italian, so I was raised mostly with Italian cuisine. And I remember the risotto, that kind of rice, because it's an Italian rice, Arborio. I use the Arborio, but we talked about that later. And I never understood how my mom could do such a creamy thing without using cream. And I remember that, and I thought it was the most difficult dish to make. And I just started making it a year ago, and I realized how easy it was to do risotto. Why did I wait so long to make risotto? I have no idea. So why did I wait so long to make risotto? I have no idea. But now I love making it, and people think making risotto takes forever, it's so difficult. Well, I am going to prove you today that it's not. It's very easy, actually. It takes about, from the beginning, when you have all your prep, I will say 25 to 30 minutes with the chopping and everything else and the cooking. So there we go. We have 5 ounces of shiitake mushrooms, 5 ounces of white mushrooms. We have 1 small onions, 1 small medium onions, diced. And to start, that's all we need. We'll be right back with Marie's Kitchen after these messages. Welcome back, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make risotto, so you won't be afraid. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my heat, and I'm going to put on medium just to start. And I'm going to pour 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil. It can be 3, it can be 4. I mean, I'm going to see 2. I think I'm going to go for 4. 3 and 4. There you have it. So you're going to heat up the skillet. And the first thing we're going to put in is the onions. So this is our first ingredient we're putting in. And I am going to put the heat a little bit higher. So I'm going to go to medium high. All right. And we are going to sweat. I call that sweat. So that means it's not going to be brownish color. It's going to stay white and translucent, a little bit wet. Okay. So that's the first thing you do, at least my recipe of risotto. So it's cooking, you know, and like I said earlier, it's doing a little song. There it is. So, but make sure you don't brown the onions. You just want the onion, like I say, sweat. Like, oh, he had run for 20 miles and it's sweating, sweating, sweating. So there it goes. And that takes maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. So remember, we had 5 ounces of shiitake mushrooms that I'm pouring with the onions, and we have 5 ounces of white mushrooms. And it's maybe a little bit a little bit more than what I wanted to do, but I love mushrooms. And again, cooking, it's all about, I'm going to put the heat at medium high. Cooking, it's all about personal. And, you know, if you like mushroom like I do, because I love mushrooms, I will put more mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you put less. That's simple as that. And you try to cover mushrooms and onions together. And that's going to take maybe 3 to 4 minutes, no more than that. You know, I like family style cooking. For me, it's the best. You know, of course I like to go to 2-3-star restaurant when I can, maybe once or twice a year, because they have a different style. You know, they have the fancy kind of design cooking, and it's nice to experience that too. But my cooking, it's all about family style. Remember, I grew up with 11 in our family, 9 kids and 2 parents, so family style was the way to go in our family. I am gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. The reason I'm adding that is for the acidity. The risotto like a little bit of acidity. The recipe, the most popular recipe will use white wine. I don't. I don't like alcohol in my cooking, but it does call for white wine. And the substitution will be lemon juice. So this is what I'm going to do to have the acidity in my risotto. I am going to add a cup of Arborio rice. And the reason I'm using Arborio is because there is more starch. And like we say, I don't know if I said that earlier, I don't wash my rice, I don't boil my rice, I don't rinse it either. You just put plain Arborio in your mixture of mushrooms and onions. There it is. There it goes. Now, what you are going to do is, and this is important, you are going to really stir the rice with the mixture. You want to cover everything. And you're going to do that for about a minute so your rice is inside. All right, what I'm going to do here now is add a tiny bit of butter. And it's only 1 tablespoon of butter. Like that. And we are going to mix. And when the butter is completely melted in your mixture here, we are going to start pouring the liquid. In my case, in this recipe, I use organic chicken broth. You can do, if you're vegetarian, you can use vegetable broth. It's not going to change the recipe. It's not going to change the taste. It's just going to be with vegetable broth instead of chicken broth. That's it. All right. The butter is melted. And there is variety and different kind of style of making risotto, but this is my recipe, my style. I thought it's easy enough. All right, I think I am where I want to be with my rice, my onions, my mushrooms. I am going to start pouring my chicken broth in the mixture, in the rice. And I'm going to start with a small amount. I'm going to go higher with the heat. So I'm going to push, and I'm going to be on medium high. And I'm starting with 1.5 scoop of chicken broth, and you stir. Why am I putting small amount of chicken broth? You will say, why is she's not putting the whole chicken broth in the skillet? Well, the reason is this is risotto, so we want the grain to rub and release the starch because Arborio has a lot of starch in it, the rice. And that's what we're doing. So there you go. That creamy texture start to come out. Yay! Can you hear that song? I can. And can you smell? It smells so good. Mmm, yum. All right, see? This first, I'm gonna do another one. There it is. And it's boiling. And this process, the cooking process is usually between 18 and 20 minutes. And you will know it. And I don't know if did I tell you that was 1 cup of chicken broth? Oh, I'm sorry. I take it back. Not 1 cup, 4 cup. It's 1 liter. 4 cup of chicken broth. All right, so now we have a risotto who has been cooking for 20 minutes. And then again, you taste, you always taste. And if you think that the grain is still kind of al dente and you want it more cooked, just leave it longer. That's simple as that. So in my case, I think it's really good. So what I like to do is to add 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese. There it is. Okay, I talked earlier about the peas because of the color and also the taste. I like it. So here I don't have peas because I like to use the fresh ones, but I like color in my food. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley, come from my garden, by the way, and I like to give that greenish little taste. Oh, it smells so good. The Parmesan cheese smells so delicious. Okay, I'm gonna plate. This is the serving plate. This, by the way, it's for 3 to 4 people. Okay, what I like to do, this is a little secret, I like to sprinkle my plate for decoration. I really like the presentation. What do? And you are gonna scoop your rice, your risotto, il riso, in this dish. And I forgot, but usually I will have a little bit of parsley or basil for the presentation again. And you are good to serve. Bon appétit. The Italian will say buon appetito. See you next time. Thank you. And let's taste it. Delicious. Yum. Au revoir.